This is Zenzi, payroll named Deb. I was emotionally and verbally assaulted by the owner, potential owner, we'll get to that, of the grocery outlet, Seaside. Here's the scenario. As an autistic human, people just get mad at me and say the most horrendous things when I have asked a simple question. Everyone seems to just beat me over the head with their emotional problems when I ask a simple question. This is not okay. How on earth should I have managed to be not scared to talk to human beings when it's just absurd what I go through? We're all going through this absurdity to a vast extent, and it just unsettles us, but we're just supposed to grin and bear it. So here's the scenario. Get up early, Zanzi and I got to take care of the puppy. And sitting in the parking lot for in the shade for a long time, waiting for the store to open at 8 a.m. I'm all ready, got my, money in my bag. And I look up and the open sign is flashing. Okay, I'm at the far end of the parking lot in the shade, all the way at the far corner of the parking lot in the shade. So I get out of the car, stroll across the parking lot, get there. Guy comes up, got coffee in one hand, keys, unlocks the door. I start to follow him in. He turns around, pushes the door closed, and locks it. And I'm like, that's pretty rude. But then for some reason he unlocked it. He's just looking at me, and I point to the open sign. I say, it says you're open. And then he unlocks it, and he says he didn't turn the sign on, and he checks his phone and he says 5 minutes. To which here's my simple question. Here's my offense. I said, well, do you really want to turn a customer away for a few minutes? Door's open, he's here. Why? What's the magic of 8 o'clock? This is when he goes, I don't have a cashier for you. He starts going off in ways that seem like a non sequitur to me. So he tells me he doesn't have a cashier. Well, I got to shop. It's a few minutes before 8 o'clock. The sign was on. I'm not there. I wasn't. But the sign was on. That's why I had started to walk through the door and was really thrown back at the way he just shut it and slammed it on me, which is why I pointed to the open sign is flashing. So then, I don't know, something snapped in him, and he's like, well, if you're going to come in, I've got to... So apparently they chain the shopping carts. I got to get the shopping carts ready. I'm standing there with a bag in my hand. So he has to go and they put the chain around it. So he's undoing that, and he puts his coffee down, and then, I'm just like, and he spills his coffee. Well, he's messing around, because I'm still standing there like, how come all this is unfolding when I just asked why you would turn a customer away if it's minutes until all this is going on? So, and I'm trying to stay particularly unemotional because I can feel it, so I'm rambling a bit. I can feel the emotion building, because we'll get to it. Because so then he unchains the shopping carts, and then he walks back into the store, looks at me and says, now it'll be 10 minutes before we open because I got to go get another coffee. That's verbal abuse. That's emotional verbal abuse. And he shuts the door, goes to, and then he remembers, oh, he's trying to open early, I guess. That was the whole point of all of this very scattered, very aggressive energy that I'm a customer asking to come in and spend money in his store. All this is unfolding. And I really was just at this point mute. I don't know why this is unfolding. But then when it was directed at me at the end, now you don't get to come in for 10 minutes punishing me because you made me spill my coffee. I did not. And by the way, while this was unfolding, another girl, there's a younger person with a backpack on, came up to come into the store. She's like, she's like, the sign's on. I mean, it's not just me. And so she walked away when he starts, because she's muttering, so he went back around the corner, I don't know. Maybe forgot her bag, right? Because she's ready to come. She was walking in too. The sign was on. Now you don't get to shop for 10 minutes because you made me spill my coffee, punishing me. So then, yeah, he shuts the door, wait a few more minutes. I just stand there and stand there and stand there. And then when he comes back and he unlocks it and he opens officially and he heads towards the coffee shop, he tells me, I've forgotten what he said. It hurt so much. To which I said, this passive aggressiveness, I'm going to have to tell somebody. I shouldn't be living with your outbursts. I'm on the borders of death. And I didn't do anything wrong but ask if the store is open because the sign is on. I'm confused. Why he's unlocking it and locking it again. Simple question. No emotion. We're talking emotion building in the retelling to process the trauma so it's out of my head and onto the internet. I don't know what just happened. I don't know, did I stop it or anything? Finish the story. I walk in, I ask the person who's the manager, he points me to the next guy. I tell him, and then I'm like, what guy? We had to figure out what the guy is. And he's like, oh, that's the owner. The manager tells me that's the owner. And then I'm like, I'm never going to shop here ever again. I'm going to give him money to this guy. I don't have enough money to shop anywhere else but grocery outlet. I don't have, so I have to go back to a shop where I've been emotionally and verbally abused. On a Monday morning at 8 a.m. when I'm trying to stay alive. The total load of poverty, of how people treat you. And of all the people, this is the person with the most money. He's the owner of the store. And he's showing up with, can't keep whatever it is that's his problem from ending up launched at a customer. This is the world we live in because of plantation capitalism. The moral of the story, though, is I got the specific food I needed. Right? I'm like, I can handle this. And went about my day. I had a perfect, just brighten the day of the people at the cannabis dispensary. Smiled at a few Target people walking by and talked to people in Target. And then had a lovely exchange with the girl when I went to pay my cell phone. I have zero 0 cents to my name. Trying to go figure out how to be verbal enough to succeed at joining Esalen as the well-being philosopher in residence. This man starts my day as an autistic person. I only have so many, as they say on the internet, spoons. It just bugs me that that's what they picked, right? I don't like that. I don't think that's a good enough. I would like to, but everyone knows it. So, and right with $0 and 0 cents and having to beg, and do just enough money to be alive, to make it to Esalen. This is not like a Steve Harvey, Tyler Perry, $30 living in their car before they created their entertainment empires. This is exactly what mine is. But I'm here telling you the state of how close it would have been, some of the things that they had to go through. And that's why they take care of so many of y'all. And I will too. We don't forget this dehumanization. And we know we have to make a lot of money because this dehumanization is about to end us or cause us to somehow end someone else. Now, I can't harm a fly, but inadvertently if I hadn't been strong enough, if I hadn't had one human care enough to talk to me yesterday, if I'd been in this lonely phase of being sick and not knowing how, just complete mutism over June. If you can't talk, you can't stay alive. I mean, that talk about your catch-22, right? Which is really what's happening to all my autistic siblings. Whether the mind knows it or not, the body is going through an ever-escalating series of life or death situations that require basically a dark room, in bed, cold compress on the head for as long as possible, perhaps days. And it's not us. It's plantation capitalism and the health effects of the entirety of global warming, which is, industrialization, every aspect of what we've built as a civilization for the love of money. It's counter to our own biology and our own consciousness. Hence, we're under 30 years from self-extincting this entire species and a significant portion of the terrestrial life on the planet. They got it wrong. It won't be Planet of the Apes. Anything happens, they're going with us. It's going to be Planet of the Orcas. We've been sleeping on the aquatic mammals for a long time. I don't. I'm right here. Monterey Bay. I am actually in this phase of knowing I can succeed because I got to see my first humpback and I really got to see it, and it was dead on straight, as if no, because I've seen splashes. I have never. It was my first whale in how many months here? The mammalian kingdom all around. There's a deer this morning. She just wanted to come and be near her. I don't know, me or Zanzi. She was really in the, it was 6 something in the morning, which is why we were early sitting in the parking lot of the grocery store. I'm proud of this work documenting what's happened to me and how I responded to it. Creatively. Constantly creating, constantly going, the second someone actually listens to me. Without that way, this encounter this morning, I asked a very simple question without really any. I mean, I would the first thing in the morning. I know I didn't have any tone or any. I just gonna turn a customer away for a few minutes. Like, it just didn't make sense to me to lock up again. It was a simple question. Humanity. It's me, Zenzi. Harmony.